on divorce court today. Buy a house, deliver a baby, and get married all in 1 week? Tanisha and James made all of that happen. But could cheating tear it all apart? Tanisha Williams and James Williams have brought their dispute for Judge Lynn Toler to resolve.
Welcome to the Will Pritchard Show. We have Mr. and Mrs. Williams, married for just 11 months and are facing serious turbulence. Judge Lynn starts digging into the why behind their marriage. And honestly, it's not about the drama. It's about understanding communication, expectations, and relationship wisdom. Let's dive into what's really happening here.
Look, get me closer to the marriage.
Okay. We did have breakups on and off for about 4 years on and off. Eventually, I did end up getting pregnant. And I feel like it was kind of a rush because on his end, I feel like he wasn't ready to get married because he didn't get everything out of his system.
Well, let me ask you this. How did that come about, the decision to marry? I mean, you were pregnant. He simply wanted to make the situation right. Did he propose? How did the idea we should marry come to fruition?
Well, probably within a year and a half of us talking, we were discussing marriage because we had the same belief system. We believed that when you're dating, it leads into marriage. That was our belief system. So, you know, I told him, I'm not going to continue being in a relationship or just your girlfriend. It's going on 2 years. What are you trying to do? Mm-hmm. You know, are you wasting my time?
Is this before you two had a baby or after?
This is before.
I want to talk to Mr. Williams there because
okay.
you run around the maypole a little too much for me. Mr.
Okay.
Williams, why don't you tell me when you decided to get married, what happened? What did you say? It's time, or I don't really want to? What happened?
Well, she kind of pressed me, and we went ring shopping, and really just that's kind of how it happened. Like, we just went by the ring store, and I was like, you like that one? You like this one? And she ends up with one.
So what? She was pregnant, and she said, look, I'm pregnant. I've been with you forever. Yeah, put a ring on it or go away. Is that what she said?
Pretty much.
Put a ring on
Pretty
it.
much.
And you decided to put a ring on it.
Yes.
Is that basically what occurred? You said, look, brother, you got to step up. Give me a ring. I'm having a baby. Let's do this thing. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. But I did tell him, don't let me being pregnant be the cause for you wanting to
And
be
his
married.
response was what?
Okay, let's go ahead. I mean, that's basically what it was. Mm-hmm. Like I said, and throughout the whole process, even while I was pregnant, I kept telling him. Even before we got married, I told him, don't let this baby be the cause of you getting married because it's just not going to work. And now, not even 2 weeks after we got married, we were having issues. Mm-hmm. The day before we got married,
just on the general, when a guy says, okay, I'll go ahead, that means I don't want to do it, but I'm pressed in to do it, so I'm going to do it. That's how men speak that, because especially when you want it. And I think you were on it, and he just gave in. He just caved.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, let me just tell you, we did marriage counseling,
mm-hmm.
and when our counselor, which is our pastor, when he asked him, why do you want to get married, J.E. told him that he feels like I'm his soulmate and he couldn't see his life without me. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that kind of simmered everything down as far as, you know, oh, I'm having a baby. He's not just doing it for that. Because he never told me that before. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, wow, I could go with that.
Here's what I'm saying, Ms. Williams. You kept telling him, don't let this baby be the reason. If you had felt that he was really ready to get married, you wouldn't have kept asking him that and telling him that. You sensed already that he...
Okay, let's pause right here. Mrs. Williams' concern is completely valid here. This is a textbook case of social exchange theory. She's worried about the cost of being in a marriage built on obligation rather than mutual desires and love. That's a red flag for sure. A foundation built on pressure isn't sustainable. Here is some wisdom from Proverbs 24, verse 3, that says, by wisdom a house is built. What is that wisdom? Well, Mrs. Williams, it was wise to voice her concern early on, before they got married. If something feels off, it's better to bring it up sooner than later. And the takeaway and the wisdom here for us is that speaking up about your concerns may feel uncomfortable, but it is better than pretending everything is fine when it isn't. You want to build your relationship in love and openness and, being concerned as you share what you feel is off in a relationship in love, so that the other partner can receive it and have some understanding, and then come together and provide a solution that is both suitable to the relationship. And the aim is for the relationship to be successful, not necessarily a personal need, a private need, to be championed or advanced in this case.
Ms. Williams, I'm going to go back to you, and I'm going to try again. And before I say anything, let me say this. Both of you speak a lot about your beliefs, what you thought and what you believed. I wanted to know how you felt, what you wanted, and why you're not happy. I don't want to know about your belief system.
This is a classic case where Judge Lynn is trying to cut through the noise. She says she doesn't want to hear about what they believe. She wants to know what's really going on in their hearts and mind. Right here, she's asking for what communication scholars call self-disclosure. Another theory at play here, according to the social penetration theory, genuine intimacy in relationship develop as people gradually reveal more personal, vulnerable information about themselves. But look how both of them struggle to go beyond the surface. Very difficult to build a long-lasting relationship when you're still dealing with surface issue within the relationship.
I want to know what's really going on at your house, okay? Now, you tell me, when did it start to go bad and what it is you were having a problem with?
What started to go bad was when he started listening to outsiders and be like, well, I just feel this. And I'm like,
somebody
that doesn't
told
even
you
sound
to
like
feel
you.
that. I've got that. Now, let me ask you this. What were you two arguing about regularly that caused him to go to other people?
Well, after I had my baby, we stayed arguing a lot about him being out all the time with his friends and not helping me around the house. I'm a new mother. I mean, this is completely new to me. I'm not for sure what to do. I'm sitting crying by myself, and he's with his friends.
Mrs. Williams is opening up about feelings of abandonment, especially as a new mom. She's expressing what attachment theory would describe as feelings of insecurity. When her husband chose to spend time with friends instead of helping her to adjust to new motherhood, her sense of trust and safety in the relationship was shattered, and this would have caused a lot of arguments. For all the new dads out there, remember, becoming a parent is a huge transition for both parties, both mother and father. Being physically and emotionally present is fundamentally crucial in your marriage. Believe me, we have two sons who are now in university, and we understand what it was like to bring two children into the world. And we weren't living near our families. We were living overseas. And we had to learn and to be parents, to adjust to parenthood. But one thing we did really well, I felt, was that we relied on each other. We were there for each other. We both put in the percentages of our time to caring for these young boys when they were babies. And now they're bigger, stronger, and are out there doing what they were called to do. So fathers, be there, be present, not only for your wife, but your sons or your daughters or your children will also feel it in their spirit that there's a couple there that loves them, makes them feel secure, even from that babyhood age.
Again, Mr. Williams, what did you expect once you said I do? Did you expect everything to remain the same? And if so, why did you say I do?
I expected everything to change with me and her, but I mean, that's because arguments arose, and who wants to stay there and argue? So why
Arguments don't arise. Something happens and then you argue about it. And I want to know is what was going wrong. What she's telling me is she didn't think you were invested in the marriage, that you got married but didn't change your old single ways, that you were still going out doing what you were doing. And I want to know if in fact she's got that right or something else was wrong.
I think that it was more so I was working, throughout the week so much to where when I get off, I don't want to just sit at the house and just be there. I want to go do something or get out of the house.
You didn't enjoy being home with your wife and kid.
Not so much that. Like if say she didn't want to go out and I wanted to go do something, wanted to go eat or something, she'd be like, well, I guess she felt a certain way about her weight, or after she had the baby, she wasn't the same. Her body had changed and everything, and she didn't feel like going out sometimes. And I'd go out and eat with my friends, go to wing night or something, eat with my friends or something.
If your wife is sad, just had a baby, having a baby is I don't know if y'all get it. It's a deep, difficult thing. You're throwing up, you're uncomfortable. The baby's burping all night, so you can't sleep. Inside your stomach, he's burping. And and then afterwards, your body shifts, your hormones are all over the map. That kid is not letting you sleep, and your response is, well, you're going through something. Let me leave.
Exactly.
Did you comfort and care for this new mother and new baby? Or did you just say, oh, well, you're not any fun anymore. Let me go elsewhere?
No. I mean, I don't think I did.
A lot of eyebrow raising here. It's valid to feel tired from work, but choosing to seek relaxation away from his wife and child isn't healthy. Sorry, Mr. William. This is where conflict theory and avoidance come in. Rather than confronting the struggles at home, Mr. Williams avoids them, seeking an escape. Here's where practical wisdom is needed. Address the issue. Don't run from it. Even when it's uncomfortable, stay engaged in your family's life and its growth. Think of the relationship. Think of the health of the relationship. I encourage any couple, put the health of the relationship above your own needs and deal with those issues and confront them in a loving way, because your goal is to go forward together in love and peace and unity for the sake not only of your relationship, but for the next generation that is coming.
What would you argue about?
Well, prior to our marriage, she'd done something with someone else.
She cheated?
Yeah, she cheated with somebody, and she brought that up in arguments and stuff, and I mean, that just makes for more arguments.
She brought that up in arguments, which means there was already argument, and if you don't tell me what the arguments were about, I'm going to lose my mind.
The argument loop. Mrs. William mentioned, or Mr. William, that is, how old wounds keep resurfacing, which is common when issues aren't dealt with or resolved in the past. It reminds me of conflict resolution theory. Says if you keep bringing up the past, it means those issues were never fully addressed and dealt with and forgiven and be healed. One practical piece of wisdom here is from Matthew 5:23-24, which encourages reconciliation. Leave your gift and go seek forgiveness. If there's unresolved hurt, stop everything and deal with it. Remember, the goal is the health of the relationship. That's your number one priority.
You were arguing about not having the family and the picture that you wanted, and you were also arguing about the fact that he wasn't acting like he was married. You were what, 26?
Yes, ma'am.
He was behaving like he was 26. and he was going out. And that's what you were arguing about. Then other stuff came in on top of that, but that was the basic problem.
Right.
Can I get a cosign on that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
I got a cosign on that.
Exactly.
Now, Mr. Williams, you say that Mrs. Williams has quite the temper.
She breaks things when she gets mad. She does a lot. I have pictures, evidence.
Wow.
Now, what am I looking at? All I see is a foot.
You have to look really, really close. It's cracked all the way down the side of it.
That happened because he wants to go out to the club at 2 o'clock at night. And to me, a married man,
Shouldn't do that. Did it stop him?
he went right to the club, and I went right to the club with him.
Yeah. And this is a door jam? Were you busting in or busting out?
I was busting in.
You were busting into a bedroom or to the house itself?
The bedroom. I asked for him to let me in, and he wouldn't let me in.
Was he hiding from you? Now go ahead and tell the truth, Mrs. Williams. Was he hiding from you? You were hot and rolling, and he was like, oh, Lord. Went into the bedroom, locked the door, and you...
Well, that's a kick-in.
Oh, you kicked?
Yes.
Oh. Which makes more sense than the shoulder. I'm sorry, I don't break indoors, so I don't... I don't know how that works.
I'm working on my anger, I really am.
Mr. Williams, is that what happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me tell you what I think your underlying problem is. In these compatibility tests, I heard nothing about love, care, interest, support. All I heard was respect, listen to me, not the man, in charge, who's not in charge. I want him to be a man, he's not a man. I want her to stop being the man on top of me. It's all a power struggle and nothing more. You keep claiming you want more of a man while you telling him what to do. And it's hard to be a man when you got somebody telling you what to do all the time. Mr. Williams, you're trying to be a man while you're still behaving like a boy. You can't go out like you're single. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Absolutely right.
You want to respond, Ms. Williams, so go ahead. Tell me what you... Did I miss it?
You hit it right on point. I just want to be able to talk to him. We don't talk anymore.
All right.
It's always an argument, and I don't know how to come back from that.
Right. Because everybody's angry, and you've got these rebound emotions around the house, and nothing's right.
Pete, we can't talk anymore because he talks to somebody and it's like, oh, that's the end of the word. I got their word and that's what we're doing. I'm just like, come on. We used to talk on the phone for hours. You know, now we don't talk. We don't have no ends to anything. I want to talk about bills. Oh, it's argument about bills. I want to go out together. Oh, it's the argument about going out together. It's a hassle now.
Yeah. Everything is a hassle. Even things that used to be simple are now a hassle.
If I raise my voice, oh, you're being itchy, you know? You
Yeah.
say you're being itchy and,
Itchy.
well,
I'm telling you, I'm gonna publish a dictionary. Divorce court words. Mr. Williams, you see your wife over there. She's crying. Her heart's broken. What are you thinking? How do you feel?
I don't feel good, but at the same...
Whew. Well, what we see here is a classic example of relational power dynamics. Right? The constant back and forth between who's in charge. This reveals a fundamental struggle for control. This issue isn't uncommon, though, in young couple marriage, especially when roles and responsibilities aren't clearly defined or constantly being challenged. I remember going through this as a young married man. But Judge Lynn points out that it's not just about respect, but about a deeper issue of responsibility and accountability. According to family system theory, every member of the family plays a role. And if one partner isn't fulfilling their responsibilities, the other has to step in, often leading to resentment and conflict. It's a cycle that feeds on itself. But one thing I want to encourage, though, is if you put the health of the marriage first, above your own needs and above the needs of whatever that is around you, whoever that is around you, and you do it for the sake of your marriage or for the sake of your relationship, things will work out. I have a cross-cultural marriage. I've been married for over 23 years or over 20 years. And we've gotten accustomed to understanding the strength that we have as a couple. And if my wife is uneasy and not willing or unable to do something, I step in. And there's always a thank you. There's always an appreciation. And likewise, vice versa. But we do it not because we want to get something out of it. We do it because it is good for our marriage. It is good for our relationship. It brings peace and joy and unity within the marriage. And this young couple is figuring this out. And it takes a while to figure this out. It took us years to feel comfortable and not feeling that one is dominating the other because of their talent and their skills and their education.
Conversation, because she's trying to run, she's trying to tell me what I need to, do and all that. And I'm not getting a chance to talk.
Ms. Williams, what's your response to that?
Well, I am very dominant, but in saying that, I understand that he is also the man of the house, but it's kind of hard to allow him to step up and do things while even I was pregnant, I was doing everything. It's hard to step down the ladder of being dominant when I'm constantly having to
handle it, because if you don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Exactly.
So you have to continue to. I understand
exactly
exactly what you're talking about.
It's exactly that.
Well, Miss Williams feels that she's been forced into dominant role, even when she needed support during pregnancy. This aligns with the role strain theory, which describes the stress that comes when someone is forced to juggle roles that they didn't sign up for. Mrs. Williams wanted a partner, but ended up feeling like she was raising two children, her baby and in some way her husband. Well, here's the wisdom part. Marriage is a partnership, and a wonderful partnership when done right, not a hierarchy. Both partners need to feel support and secure. Ephesians 5:22 instructs husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for it. That love is sacrificial and involves stepping up to care for each other.
You don't feel like you're the man, not because she doesn't respect you. It's because you're not doing the things that you need to do in order to take charge of your household. You are not the one responsible for the bills and responsible for how things work. You don't make sure the home is all tucked up and tucked in before you head out. And so what she does is, if it's not taken care of, she has to take care of it herself. And it makes her angry. You want to be respected, but have not earned that respect. The home is a nice place. It's got this pretty woman in it, and it's got your baby in it. You're 26 years old, and I think you're 26 typical for a male, which means pretty much not ready. He needs instruction. He needs help. He doesn't need you to holler. You got yourself half a kid. You got to tell him 3 things he needs to do. Something he can handle, but something that he's going to take off your plate. Babe, I need you to do A, B, and C. And if he does it, you thank him for it. Babe, thank you. It made my day easier. It made my life easier. And when you're home, you need to spend 30 minutes trying to make her happy.
Absolutely. Respect is a two-way street, and Judge Lynn makes a great point. Mr. William can't expect respect if he isn't fulfilling his responsibilities. This is where servanthood, in order to meet others' needs, come in. Mrs. Williams' basic needs for security and stability aren't being met. So it's nearly impossible for her to offer the respect and admiration he desires. Mr. Williams feels emasculated, which makes sense when his actions don't align with the responsibilities of being a husband and father. To put it plainly, you can't claim to be the leader of your home if you're not taking care of the home. Especially when you have children and when that child and when that baby grows. That baby will look for both the love and care and sympathy from the mother and strong leadership, strong voice from the father.
And when you're home, you need to spend 30 minutes trying to make her happy. You know what I mean? Just something kind. What would she like for you to do? What would make her smile?
Bring her roses, something like that.
Is that true or not true?
That's
Because
true.
roses is default.
I mean, I like the romantic end, and that's kind of where we left off. I tell them all the time. When I was pregnant, I used to be like, you know, can I get a foot rub or a back rub? And what he'd say to get out of that is, you don't do it to me. So that kind of knocks out everything.
This is another crucial point: emotional bids for connection. According to John Cottonman's relationship theory, when one partner makes a bid for connection, like asking for a foot rub, the other partner has the choice to turn towards or away from that bid. Mr. Williams, instead of turning towards his wife, deflects or dismisses her request. Over time, this erodes intimacy and trust, though. Want more intimacy, Mr. Williams? Pay attention to your partner's needs. A foot rub isn't just a physical act. It's a way of saying, I'm here for you. I care about you. And when you make those small sacrifices, it builds a reservoir of goodwill and connection.
Mr. Williams, I'm gonna leave you with some advice to get you the thing that you really want. You wrote in your papers more than once that you would like more sex. Let me tell you how to get it. Takes 5 minutes. It's called 5-minute all-day foreplay. You call her in the morning. Hey, baby, I love you. How you doing? Do you need me to bring something home? When you do get home, you take your hand and you like that. Hug her. You beautiful baby. Ah, dinner was good. Then you get it. You gotta warm us up. We're like a car on a cold day. You can't just jump in and turn on the engine. You gotta warm us up.
The judge is spot on, right? If Mr. Williams wants respect and even more intimacy, he needs to start doing the little things that shows he's invested in his family. A wise saying goes, action speaks louder than words. The book of James reminds us, faith without work is dead. Similarly, a desire for respect and love without meaningful action is hollow. For Mr. Williams, the key is to actively participate in the household. Take task off his wife's plate and show appreciation. This isn't about gestures, it's about being consistent. So what's the takeaway from this intense exchange? Well, first, marriage isn't about who's in charge, but about how both partners can support and love each other through actions, little and big action. Second, both partners need to make emotional investment. Mrs. Williams needs reassurance, and Mr. Williams needs just to simply step up. Relationships are hard work, and that's okay. With patience, wisdom, and consistent action, it's possible to break unhealthy cycles. If you're in a similar situation, ask yourself, how are you making your partner feel secure and valued? And if not, what can you do today to change that? Every little action counts. Now, if you like this channel, please like it and subscribe it. And if you want more wisdom and communication and learn how to communicate and improve your relationship, there'll be more videos like this to come. Thank you for watching, and remember, think wisely in order for you to live wisely in your relationship. Share, like, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. God bless.